Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I have to be very honest, as I always am, and tell you that I am super excited to talk to this next guest. This is somebody who, I'm going to go right there. She has psychic abilities, but even deeper than that, she is a spiritual healer and helps you design your life based on spirituality, i.e., her Design Your Life Spiritual Studio. Lot she offers. I'm going to focus on psychic medium today. She's renowned for that and so much more. Psychic medium Judy joins us here today. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you, Steve?
Very well, very well. I'm going to get this out of the way. I'm going to
Okay.
get it out of the way and say, if anything comes through for me, you're feeling something, vibing something, I have nothing to hide. Blurt it out, say it. If I need to, I'll validate it and just leave it at that.
Okay.
You never know what's going to happen.
You never do.
You never do. It's up to the spirits, the other side. So let's talk about that. As a psychic medium, you do have the ability to connect with those who have passed on. Is that right?
That's correct.
What do you hear, sense? How do you get those messages? How does it present?
Well, that's a really interesting question, because I do believe there are other mediums. I don't think I'm the only one. However, I think that we all perceive, see, or hear things in our own way. So, for example, I will get a knowingness in my head. It's like I'm hearing it, but it's not actually language. It's just I know it. And they will use actual words. Or the other thing I get a lot of is I'm clairvoyant, so they will show me pictures. But that's smart. Your spirit, your people after they pass are clever, so they will figure out that I don't understand what they're saying to me if they're showing me things, talking to me. So they'll often show me things that I can relate to. So, for example, if they show me a picture of my brother who has passed, I know the name could be David, and or he had many women, it was a womanizer, things like that. So and they'll actually let me know to relate to certain things, because it's a language that you develop of your own to understand what they're trying to say to you. For example, last week, I had a girl on and her husband had just died, and I knew it, and I didn't know if it was suicide or murder, because the sense was so dark. So that, to me, that energy you get when it's that dark is either suicide or murder. And I asked her, and it was suicide. And I went into some details, and then I said, was he a guard in the prison? And she's, yes. How did you know that? Well, he showed me someone else that had passed that was a guard. So I knew that. So they develop a language with you, and they know what you're going to understand. And if they don't, they find a way to get it to you. Do you know what I mean? So I had a customer bring me in a book, and it was quite cute. It was animals. And all of a sudden, all the spirits that were coming through were showing me animals. And I could look up the animal, and it would be really appropriate for that person. They needed to hear it. So we develop a language. It takes years.
Do you feel that we're all psychic?
No.
Do you feel that we all have some type of intuition?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe that we can hear some of these things coming from the other side? We just don't know how to listen, or we're just so busy, crazy that we're missing the signs.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. It takes time, and it takes the desire to. I mean, I had it from a child, so I would get feelings, I would know, I would speak, people would be like flabbergasted and all of that. But over the years, I've developed something so much more, but it is paying attention to it. If you're not paying attention to anything else other than your little everyday life and your emotions for this and the emotions for that, you're not really paying attention to the messages you're getting from the other side. You're just missing it. It's not that it's not there, it's just you're missing it. So it's a tuning in, it's like a tuning fork. I believe that it's like radio waves. Like you didn't tune the radio in quite right, so I can't quite hear that one, you know?
I use that analogy too,
Yeah.
where you need to be tuned in. Um, I will say this in my journey, and I believe in people like you. There are
Thank you.
some that, maybe they're not legit. It is
Yeah.
what it is. It's like that, you buy a car. Sometimes the salesman is not, not looking out for your best interest. But
Yeah.
those who have the ability are able to connect and receive. And I've seen it. I've been part of the early stages, careers of many people like yourself,
Mhm.
promoted them, etc. Watched it for decades. So, and I'm a skeptic. And I even friends who are psychics, I would say, yeah, show me more. They could go a little bit deeper than that. And then I would see it. Or I would do a radio show and I would just answer the phone, pressing a button randomly. There's no way somebody got planted in there. There's thousands of people calling at that time. There's no way. And they would make the connection. Fast forward to in recent years in my journey, I had this epiphany that when somebody passes, this is my belief, their energy is still here.
Oh,
It's
100%.
it's all around us. The body is
100%.
gone, but the energy is still here. And I've asked for signs, and I've gotten them, and they are specific. If a butterfly or a penny face up supports you and makes you feel connected, wonderful. Not good enough for me. I want more. And I've gotten regularly very specific signs. And that was my, oh, that's how that works. They're still here. It's kind
Oh,
of crazy.
absolutely. Absolutely. And they answer you too. One thing I teach my clients to do, if you're really confused in your life and you don't know what to do with yourself, you have no idea. I tell them to write down their problems on a piece of paper, put it under your pillow and pray. Ask your guides to give you the answer. And then in the morning, write down whatever's in your head
Mm,
because usually they're answering you or they're giving you clues. I can do it like that, but it takes time for people to get that they're really listening. Just listen. The guidance you get from the other side, especially the first 6 months when they're gone,
hmm,
miracles can happen.
hmm. Who are your guides?
Well, I don't know that I've ever really named them, or
But you
they've
have
never.
them. That
Yes,
maybe let me clarify that question. Um, I look at it as like I call it a spirit team. You have a spirit
yes,
team floating out there,
it's
and they help, they direct you in your life, and for you, I guess they give you insight to help deliver a message for
others.
others. Yeah.
So the way I explain it to people, I call them my angels because I like that term, my angels. And we have five of them. We each have five of them, one above us, one each side, one in front, one behind. And we're kind of boring. We don't put out a lot of emotions all the time. And so they go have tea, they talk to other people. They're not paying a lot of attention. But the minute we have an emotion, whether it's good or bad, they're right there, and they try to give you your help, whatever you need. Like you hear stories of like a glass shield coming down in front of you and your car stalls and stops and you don't get hit and things like that. And that's your guides because that fear drives them to come and help you. So the
Hmm.
language of the universe and the language that we use to our guides mostly is our emotions because that's how they know we're alive. That's how they know we need something. And that's their language. Words, yes, but you'll hear it said by any of the great people that have gone before me that it is emotion. That is the ladder that Wayne Dyer always talks about. It's your soul to your body, to your emotional body, to your spirit. And that's what it is. And the more emotion you put into something, the faster you receive it. And I say it's the power
Hmm.
of three. So this is what I teach my clients.
Hmm.
It's the power of three. If you put out a negative emotion, which we're all good at, let's be honest, negative emotions drive us. And why do we allow that? Well, because it gets us attention. And we all crave attention. We learn that from the crib. We got a sore bum, we cry, our mummy comes. So we know how to get attention. So we put out these negative emotions. But
Hmm.
if you want to receive something positive, how are you going to do that when you're putting out negative? You're not going to. So I teach my clients to use the power of three. The minute you have a negative emotion, focus, focus, focus. Put out a positive result. Put out a positive desire. Put out what you really want to achieve. And that way, your angels answer you better, faster, quicker. So that's one of the ways we design our lives. We stay on track.
Wow. Interesting, because it almost goes back to, you have some friends that are a little negative. Do you want to hang out with them? No. There's negative Nancy again. Oh, I don't want to deal.
Yeah, yeah.
And I guess it's the same thing for, our spirit team, if you will.
Mhm.
I started doing this recently, and tell me if I'm doing this wrong, but I wanted to meet them. Others have told me that they've meditated or whatever they did, and their spirit guides presented themselves, and
Yes,
even presented themselves with certain names.
yes.
Archangel Michael is a very well-known guide, um, said to be a protector. Um, I have laid in bed a few times, and that's my place. I just lay in bed, I close my eyes. I actually look forward to it. I never
Me
used
too.
to. Yeah, it's just
Me
like,
too.
what am I going to get? What am I going to get this time? I've only done this in the past week or two, maybe two or three times. Once I fell asleep, so could have gotten a confirmation and I would have missed it. But I'm asking. I'm just laying there. I'm like, okay, spirit guides, um, present yourself, or I'll ask for something to go well. Haven't gotten contact yet, but I'm not
Oh,
concerned.
no, 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 no. Believe me, you're having contact. They may not be answering you yet, but they're hearing you. And the more emotion you put into it, the more passionate you get about it, the quicker they show up. You get excited about it. Like I teach people to say they love themselves. I have at least 2,500 people a day singing my song here in Calgary, and I can't sing worth a damn, but I put passion into it. So I love myself. I love myself. This I truly do, and I get people to put that passion in it. And when we go out, I'll get people run up and hug me and say thank you, and I change their lives because they start to feel. And when you feel passionate, you feel good, you start to create and attract good.
Mm. Well, doesn't it go back to gratitude? So we should be practicing gratitude,
Absolutely.
and it's my understanding that the universe wants to give you more of what you got. So
Yeah.
if you're gracious, you have gratitude for the things you have, it's hearing you and saying, "Oh, you like that? Well, let me give you some more of that. You're grateful for your health. Let me give you some more good health. Oh, you're
Mhm.
grateful that that deal came through yesterday, and wow, I'm so happy that it did. Uh, let me give you some more abundance. Let me give you another one. Uh, and we shouldn't be grateful just for what can come our way. We should anyway.
Let's be honest, we should be grateful for the experience that we're allowed to have here on Earth, the beauty of the universe, the beauty of Earth, the beauty of everything that we get to see and enjoy on a day. Every morning I wake up and I go, thank you for me. You thank you thank the universe for the gift of yourself. And when
Mm.
you do that, it makes you just you feel more. And then I have to be honest. I then roll over and I watch Matt Rife and I absolutely laugh. And then
Mm.
I get up and I'm in a great mood.
I've been watching more stand up in the last year or so myself.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's some of them are so good.
Some
I
of the,
like
yeah.
John Johnson as well, but if I really want to have a really good laugh, I watch Matt.
Jim Gaffigan. Have you ever seen him?
A little bit,
A little
yes.
bit. Ooh,
I'll
Papa.
watch him.
Oh,
Hmm?
check him out. There's another one. Oh gosh. Oh, trying to think of his last name is Papa. Um, and they're not dirty either.
Mhm.
And that's for me, that's the mark of a great
A,
comedian, Tom
a
Papa.
great.
Yeah, because they don't
So
need
it's,
to be dirty. Can I share something with you?
yes.
And this goes, and I it's not about me, but I share it to illustrate what happens when you ask. So my mom passed 5 years ago.
I knew that. Yeah.
I ask for signs, I get them. They're very specific. So I don't know, maybe 9 months ago, or whatever. I was like, Mom, been a while. Show me something. Show me what you got. Just check in with me. Show me, give me another sign. So I get the modem changed out here in this office. They generate a password so you can hook up your equipment, right? Saved $100. Thanks, Mom. Per month, by the way. And then I flip over the modem after the tech leaves, and it's 4 digits. It's on the wall right now. 4 digits dash her name dash 2 digits. Her name is Rose. So I'm like, thanks, Mom. I gotcha. And I knew there was something with the digits. And I'm like, what's going on with these numbers? And I thought about it. It's always 711, 711. What's going on? 711. And when you add them up, last 2 digits are 527. And what is it? And I got nothing. And I mentioned it to my daughter, who's a teen. And she said to me, maybe, maybe something with your dad. My dad passed when I was 21. I have yet to have contact with him. I've asked, I don't get a sign. Didn't have a great relationship with him. And I thought deeper about it. And I went, son of a gun. He passed on 7/11.
Oh, wow. That's
He was born,
beautiful.
he was born on 3/4.
Oh, my God.
But wait, here's the cherry on top. So I took that as a sign that maybe mom or dad, but they're back together again. I don't know. Take care of your health. He died from a sudden heart attack. Like he was in great shape. Made appointment with a cardiologist. I go to the cardiologist. I'm walking through the door. This is, maybe 6 months ago. And the lady at the window to, intake, okay, what's your name? Insurance card. I look at her shirt. It says Rose. And I was like, okay. And they identified a little thing here and there. Everything's all fantastic, all good. But I believe that was to get me to go. And that's just one of many specific things I get. I could write a book
That's it. I have written a book, but yes, that is something that happens. You get messages about
all the time.
health all the time. And when people come in to see me, some of the trauma that is so bad that people have suffered and they're stuck right in that trauma and they can't move. And I've developed ways to remove it from them. And it changes their way of being in the world. It's just absolutely phenomenal how our mind and our soul connects. And then when you let go of that, it's like new. You're like born again.
You're very different.
Okay.
You
In
are.
what way?
Um, Psychic medium would be great. Leave it at that. You offer holistic healing,
Yes.
many different modalities,
Yes.
from hypnotherapy to emotional freedom technique, um, you know, energy cleansing, all of that. What a powerful combination. I have to really be honest with you. Really strong.
Well, that's one of the reasons, because when I was young and I would know things, but I wouldn't know how to help anybody. And you're explaining to
Mm,
them and you see it and I get a
wow.
feeling. I get this feeling over me that just it takes hold of me and I actually feel what they're feeling and I know what they need. So I had to speak to my angels and get information on how to help them. And I looked into different techniques, and I've studied, and I continually study, because there's always new things that come out that help you. But if you can remove that attachment to that memory of what happened to you, that is so significant. It changes them forever.
Mm-hmm.
They're never stuck back where they were. They always, it's so freeing.
Yeah.
It's just freeing. And you can test it. Because after you've done this technique, and they come back a little while later and you mention that traumatic event, they've got no emotion attached to it anymore. So it's like freedom. It's just amazing. I love it. I love it. I love being able to do what I do.
I
And
think
I
it's
thank, yeah.
fantastic what you're doing
Mhm.
because yes, okay, uh, you can bring a relative through. You can uh, bring some consolation, some closure. Okay, and that's great. That's great. But it comes a point where, okay, now we're stuck at that point. And I'm going to tell you, hypnotherapy, the last 3 or 4 years, that was my game changer.
Yeah,
That was it. And just
it
what you
is.
said.
Yeah, it is. It is huge. It is huge. As long as you, and it's about the emotional attachment. Once again, I go into these emotions, because if you can free yourself from that emotional attachment to what happened at that time,
Yep.
then you're free. That is liberation. I no longer feel like that about it. It's just an event that occurred. So what?
Right. Right. Just like getting stuck in traffic. All right.
Yeah,
So that was then.
exactly.
And now,
Exactly.
yeah. Are you
Yeah,
still talking about, 5 days ago, I was stuck in traffic? No, you already moved on, but you are stuck in your
exactly.
childhood. The
Exactly.
thing is, either you know it or you don't.
That's
And
right.
some of us don't know it. When I met the hypnotherapist, and I'm sure you do virtual.
I do.
Yeah. Mine was
Yeah.
virtual. I already knew, not that I had a bad childhood. We all had stuff, right? I said, take me back to my childhood. We're going. Here we go. Because I already knew. I already knew that, there was things floating out there. And, that was a game changer. And I'm talking in the last 3 years. Big, 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 big
Wow.
difference. Oh, yeah.
How old are you? Oh, that's not a good question.
I'll bet you I'm not, I'm right around your age.
Okay.
I'll bet you. Yeah.
Oh, I doubt it.
Oh, I don't know about that. Let's just say I remember watching the men land on the moon. Uh,
Me
I
too.
I was around when Kennedy was assassinated.
Me
Uh,
too.
okay.
We're about the same age. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
see,
was
told you.
there. Yeah. Do you remember when? No.
I know, right? Well, I don't remember the Kennedy thing, but I was right around that time. I was around. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
No, I do remember the Kennedy thing. Yeah.
wow. I'm sure you're a couple of years older. Um, Next time we get together, maybe hypnotherapy or in one of the future shows, that's something we should tackle. What do you think?
Absolutely great idea. And we'll also talk about how when you travel back in time, because I personally believe in past lives.
Mm,
This is not something I grew up believing, because I was very Christian. I still am. I believe in Christ and all of that. But I also believe in past lives, and you see things from past lives that affect people today. And sometimes you have to go a little bit further back to be able to remove that trauma that they brought into this life with them. And I believe the obesity and anorexia is all part of past lives. And we'll explain that next time. It's very
interesting.
interesting.
So we're talking generational trauma.
Yes, we are.
Okay. And the more and more I study this, the more and more I'm convinced of just what you said, and even my own, personal observations of all of this. Yeah. Wow. Fascinating talking with you, Judy.
Fascinating talking with you too. It's nice to have someone that understands.
And I'm not just yesing you because you're here.
Yeah, I know.
I that's what I believe.
Yeah, I know that.
And it's been a journey, and that's, what I experience. And I'm skeptical. I do not listen. There's a psychic. I don't have to name a name, known on TV, and had that psychic come into my studio. Her producer set this up with a panel of skeptics. She had no idea, and her job was on radio and on TV, hammer through and read them. And she did. So that's my skeptical side. Not that I'm being a jerk, but it's like, all right, let's see if it's, whatever.
Absolutely. I mean, people test you all the time and you think, well, why bother?
Right. I love the name of your practice, Design Your Life Spiritual Studio.
Thank you.
That's amazing. What's the actual website? How do we find you?
dylstudio.ca.
Beautiful. Lots to talk about next time we get together.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you for being here, and happy
You're
holidays to you and your
Thank
family.
you, Stephen, and Merry Christmas to all of you.
We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.